What I'm really excited to show you all today is our main story. Matt Walsh being Matt Walsh, all right? And now, content warning. Daily Wire reacts are so back. They're back in such a big way. Dude, remember when like Candace Owens fell off and then Steven Crowder fell off and then Tucker Carlson fell off and then like Trump kind of fell off too? And now all we have is like this and like a freak named Ben Shapiro. What a time to be alive. The saddest thing about Matt Walsh, by the way, is that he's such a one-hit wonder and he's still holding on to it. And it's kind of pathetic and sad. Like on a video that has nothing to do with what is a woman, has nothing to do with trans people, the first hashtag is what is a woman. Oh man, that is really sad. That's so sad. You fell off so hard, King. Come on, you just need another banger. Just put another banger out. Duh. Easy.
Today we're introduced to some new terminology on the daily cancellation. It's always a bad sign when that happens.
On the daily cancellation.
But here's a young lady complaining about her struggles in landing a job. She needs to find employment, but she also needs an employer who can provide accommodations for her condition. What is her condition? Well, of course, it's something totally fake and made up, of course, but here it is. Watch.
So I just got yelled at for asking a very reasonable question. So I'm applying to go somewhere, and I just wanted to know, are there accommodations for people who struggle with time blindness and being on time, you know? And then the person I was with interrupted and acted like I was asking something else. And then when we were done, they actually started yelling at me and saying that accommodations for time blindness doesn't exist. And if you struggle with being on time, you'll never be able to get a job. You know, provided you're trying your absolute best to be there. And then they're like, your stupid generation wants to destroy the workplace. And yeah, I think that a culture where workers are just cut off because they struggle with being on time, when there's other solutions that we can look to, I think that just anybody who thinks it's okay to just treat people like that, yeah.
Isn't this TikTok from over a year ago? Yeah, I mean, they don't have anything to complain about, so of course they're going to regurgitate material.
Yeah, that culture needs to be dismantled. And then I asked that person, how can you feel good about yourself upholding this kind of system? And then to think I'm entitled. No, if people think it's okay to treat others like this, that's entitlement.
So I'll never show up on time and I want to dismantle your workplace. Please hire me. Apparently that sales pitch didn't work. Well, you heard that right. Time
dismantle your workplace. Okay.
Blindness. This young person suffers from an unfortunate malady that causes her to be blind to the time. She needs accommodations for her disability. What sort of accommodations? Well, presumably her prospective employer simply needs to accommodate her coming into work whenever she feels like it or not at all. She'll just randomly wander into work and wander out suddenly, and they'll have to work around her. Maybe she'll come on time and leave on time. Maybe she'll come 45 minutes late and leave an hour early. Maybe she'll come 3 hours early, leave 5 hours after closing. You never know. She's blind to the time. Somehow this interviewer was not on board with this proposal. It seems that the prospective employer in this case is a tyrant who oppressively demands that workers, show up for work. Now, you might assume, or at least you might like to believe, that this time blindness concept is an innovation of this random TikToker. You might even like to give her credit for coming up with a creative and unintentional...
I want to just let him yap for a second and pull up the definition and then go from there.
...hilarious fake disability to justify her laziness and lack of punctuality. Sadly, however, she did not come up with this concept. I'm very sad to report that this is a thing. It's not a real thing, but it is a thing. The website Healthline has this to say about time blindness. Time blindness is a cognitive condition that causes difficulties in perceiving and managing time, often leading to challenges in punctuality and planning. Do you find yourself able to estimate the time without glancing at the clock, even when it's been a while since you looked? Most individuals with typical neurology possess an internal clock that generally gauges how much time has passed. But some individuals, such as...
They're farting in my apartment again. Let me close the window.
Individuals with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, lack this natural timekeeping sense. This is often referred to as time blindness. Time blindness can significantly affect your daily life, hindering your ability to meet deadlines, manage responsibilities, and plan effectively.
Okay.
All
right. Wait, I want to hear him say something stupid.
People with time blindness have no internal sense of time. They can't tell if 5 minutes have passed or 5 hours. It could be 9 a.m. or 3 in the afternoon. They have no idea. They have no natural timekeeping sense. This is time blindness. Now, of course, in the old days, there was a different term for this condition. They used to call it being a woman. My wife, for instance, will tend to estimate that any task, no matter what it is, will take 20 minutes. In my wife's world, everything takes 20 minutes, regardless. But I've realized over the course of our marriage that 20 minutes is shorthand for really any amount of time longer than 5 minutes, but shorter than 7 years is 20 minutes. This is especially true when it comes to estimating the amount of time it will take to travel from one place to another. Like she'll tell me on a Saturday morning that she wants to, for us all to do some sort of activity as a family, go somewhere and do something, and I'll ask how far away is the activity, and she'll say, oh, it's like 20 minutes. And then I'll look it up and I'll discover that the activity is 4,000 miles away. It's somewhere down in South America. And by 20 minutes, she meant that it would take 36 and a half hours to drive there.
Okay, let's go. All right. Let's go. I got so much to say. My wife who fucking sucks. Lol. No. Let's talk about a couple things. First of all, if conservatives weren't genuine about what they're saying, they have such good comedic timing, because it is really the funniest thing on the planet to be like, dude, that's called woman moment. But it's only funny when you don't actually mean it, because if you mean it, you're just a fucking moron that unironically believes in nonsense without any evidence. You just want to believe in your nonsense. And that's sad, right? That's sad. Because it really is just like astrology for men at that point. And it's the thing that they make fun of, right? And at least with astrology people, 99% of the people that I run into that enjoy astrology, that enjoy doing readings, that enjoy tarot card readings, their stance is, honestly, and this has just been my anecdotal experience, most of the people that I've run into that are into that stuff, their stance is, well, I don't believe it's perfectly accurate. And obviously I'm aware that a lot of it applies to everyone reading it. But it's fun. And sometimes it helps me see things in a different way. And it helps me recenter myself and focus on things that I've been neglecting. So I've always found it to be additive in my life. And that's why I do it. I understand that there's no solid evidence. And I know that it's not real. And we don't have hard science that proves that it's real. But it helps me. And so I do it. That's a great reason. Are you kidding me? I don't care. If you wake up every morning and you take a crystal and you're like, today, I'm going to pray to the crystal gods for love or whatever. And I'm going to manifest and I'm going to find the love of my life today. I'm going to go on all these dates. I'm going to go speed dating. It's going to happen. That's just having a positive outlook in life, man. If you want to call it manifesting, go for it, okay? You're just trying to improve your life and live your best life. How can I judge you for it? That's fine, right? And so, also, yeah, astrology girlies are usually not even being hateful. Most astrology people that I've met they tend to ignore the negative stuff. They tend to try and view it in a very positive light. They're very positive about it, I've noticed. Now, the difference is, of course, with this, you believe in this thing that isn't real and isn't based in any reality, but you actually, so you can't make a joke about it because it's not funny because you believe it, right? Then it's just weird. It's like the difference between Austin Show saying the F slur and like Matt Walsh saying the F slur. One of those is funny. The other one is uncomfortable. Making woman jokes is so funny because it's like very funny. Yeah, women be shopping. But then when they mean it, it's like, oh, you're so cringe. Oh, man, you're cringe. But let's move on. Let's respond to what he's saying. I have a lot of hot takes on this. Number one. Okay, number one. There are a lot of things that men do just as often as women do, but women simply don't point it out because women don't care. One of many is miscalculating time. For example, the women that I've met, myself included, who miscalculate time, a big part of it is just, I don't feel like dedicating time to accurately assessing or I don't feel like dedicating effort to accurately assessing how much time this task will take. And so I'm just going to give you any answer. And I kind of expect you to do the same. No, I don't need to go through all these formalities and actually be accurate. You do the same thing all the time. You tell me 15 minutes and then it ends up being 30 minutes, right? But it is what it is. I don't really care, right? Second, which this is I've noticed is like I don't want to get too sunlocked. Let's stay focused. Second, the second thing is, did you consider how many women actively give you the wrong time because otherwise you would complain and bitch and moan about it and they don't want to hear that shit? I'm sorry to tell you this, Matt Walsh. I'm sorry your wife doesn't value your time, and I'm sorry that your wife doesn't feel like she needs to give you an accurate time because she doesn't want to hear you whine and bitch and moan, be like, an hour away. I have such a hard job. I have to get on the internet and be bigoted, and now you want me to drive for an hour? Nobody wants to hear you crying and shitting and pissing all in your pants and in your diaper. Okay, nobody wants to. All right? And I would be very shocked if that wasn't the case for a lot of people. Third stance on this, okay? As someone who's Arab, you can ask any Arab person. There is time and then there is Arab time. And Arab people show up late to everything. It's like in our, it's fully in our culture at this point. And I will tell you, Arab people have never gotten mad at me for being late for something, ever. They're like, no, you're good. No, you're good. Yeah, I mean, I said 6 o'clock. I was expecting people to come around 8. Okay. It's also in Black and Hispanic culture. Exactly. It's just, you might estimate the time. You might not estimate the time correctly, but neither will anyone else, and no one holds each other accountable for it. It's funny because I'm indigenous and we have a concept of Indian time. Yeah. So I wanted to say that German and Swiss people, on the other hand, think like a minute late is fucked up. Dude, the fucking German and Swiss subreddit. My friend was late 1 hour. Should I kill them? It's like, whoa, oh, shit, dude. Whoa, that's crazy. That's pretty late, but like, why are it so extreme? You just talk to them. Damn, chill. Moving on. So, all I'm saying is, it's really not that big of a deal, and people being late to things happens all the time. And Matt Walsh is cringe. Now, onto the actual TikTok that he was viewing. Onto the TikTok that he was reacting to. Okay? Number 1, the concept of time blindness. Now, I am not a psychologist, but my understanding is that time blindness is real. And that there are some people, I mean, there is a real thing that hard science seems to suggest, that we have a circadian rhythm, and that naturally inside of our bodies, or brains, or whatever, we have like a clock. A clock that can accurately run and accurately assess the time, even without seeing necessarily like whether it's daytime or not, right? You have an internal clock that runs in your body, and some people just don't have one. If something exists in people, there will be exceptions where it doesn't exist, like baldness, right? People have hair except when they're bald. People have their circadian rhythm. They have their internal clock, except for the people that are, you know, internal clock bald. Now, wait a minute. Now, yes, Dapper Cat, I agree with you. Now, I will say something else as well, which is, it seems to be the case that it's something that is associated with ADHD, which I'm not surprised about from my personal experience, but we'll get into it. And I would suggest, or I would say that, to be quite honest with you, this might be, it might not be, but it might be one of those situations where it's like depression, or it's like OCD, or one of many mental illnesses or disorders or dysfunctions that a lot of people who don't have the thing say that they have the thing. Like the people who are like, oh my God, I'm just so OCD. And it's like, wait, no, you're not. Why are you using that term that way? Or like, I was just so depressed. And it's like, were you depressed or were you a little bit sad for a few hours? Or were you depressed? Which one was it? I'm going to say that I think that this might be one of those situations where people might be claiming that they have time blindness, even in situations where they haven't been diagnosed, or in situations where it's being misdiagnosed, or in situations where they don't realize that it's just a couple of life changes and it's not really actually time blindness, right? That it's something that people will diagnose for themselves internally, right? The pathologization of regular, what is, stop, my brain, regular, degular issues. What is degular? Is that a word? Or is that like a phrase? No, well, I'm sorry. I'm getting CC'd. Sorry. It's just a saying? Oh, sorry. sorry. Like fancy schmancy. Got it. Sorry. It's short for dick regular. Precisely. Moving on. With all of that in mind, I don't know if the person in that TikTok, I don't know if she actually has time blindness. I don't know if she's actually dealing with it or not. I'm not sure. But the thing is, the reason why we have diagnoses for things is to try and help those people with coping mechanisms, right? If you can't help people, or if people can't help themselves, we should diagnose these issues and then show them ways that they can help deal with these issues, aka coping mechanisms. Now, from my personal opinion, my personal experience, okay, I used to be late to everything, always, okay? Always. It didn't help that I had family members that showed up late to everything always. So, yeah, when I was working in offices, when I was working traditional jobs, I would show up late every single day. And I spoke to my like manager, and my manager's like, Denim, you can't come in late every day. Like, I'm serious. Like, you have to show up on time. And I was like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, I swear. And the worst part is, I was trying every day. Every day I tried to show up on time. And I would just show up an hour late every day, no matter what. And I was just like, I'm really trying my best. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm going to show up. Tomorrow I'm going to do it. But the thing is, an hour? Yes. Let me finish my point. Jesus Christ. 1 second. My point is, number one, I got all my work done. And I was better at my job than anyone else in my office. Like, I was built different. And on days that I had to, I stayed late to finish the work. And the reason why I never got fired was because I was too valuable. That was it. For the company, I was too valuable. Part of your job is arriving on time. I mean, no, right? It depends on what your job is. But that's not necessarily true. Anyways, my employer eventually gave up. He eventually gave up and was like, whatever, I'm not going to be able to get you to show up on time. I give up. But he tried for a very long time and was like, you don't understand. Like, we really appreciate you being here. You are great at what you do. And you do the work so well, but like, we really need you to show up on time. And I just never did. And then he just stopped talking to me about it. And they just stopped. And that happened at the next for my work for. And it was the exact same thing, which is I'm always down to stay late if I have to finish my work. And I always finish my work. And I just would show up late an hour every morning. And it didn't matter because guess what? If you're valuable enough for a company, they don't want to have to deal with HR again. If you have a manager that actually cares about the success of the business, They're not going to fire you because you aren't following directions perfectly. They're just not going to. Now, if you have a hard ass boss and you don't finish the work, then yeah, you're going to get fired. But yeah, oh, that means another employee was like, why can she be late but not me? Well, they all clocked out before I did. So I don't think that they ever asked that is the thing. And that brings me to my next point. Depending on the job, obviously, you can't show up to a surgery an hour late as a surgeon. There are certain jobs that this doesn't apply to. There are certain jobs where you either go work in another job where this isn't an issue, or you don't show up late. That's it. You find a way to stop showing up late. And for me, this doesn't work so well at, say, a cafe. Yeah, so like a cafe would be a great example. If you have to physically be there to serve coffee, yeah, you kind of have to be there on time, right? However, if you work like an office job, which a lot of people work office jobs, I subscribe to a Walter White, Jesse Pinkman schedule, okay? I don't care how many hours you clock in. I don't care how many days you show up. I don't care how late you are. You finish the work based on the deadlines. And that's all that matters to me. And I think, in my opinion, every boss should be like that. Every boss where it makes sense to be like that, it should be like that. Like if you work web dev, for example, who cares? The deadline is the same. The deadline for you to finish working on whatever you need to work on is the same. Who cares if you do it at midnight or you do it at 7 a.m.? It doesn't matter. If you are working a job that sets deadlines for your work, like, hey, we need to have this thing done by this time, I disagree that we need to have these rigid schedules and you have to show up to your office at exactly the right time and finish working exactly at the right time. And like, what? What, so we can appease some power tripping manager that wants to breathe over your neck? That's so stupid. That's so dumb. I disagree. I fundamentally disagree. And I think that that's absolutely moronic. Okay? I'm super punctual. I work from home, so getting to work takes me basically 2 minutes. It takes basically just the 2 minutes it takes to sign in. My boss actually recently told me that it's okay if I'm a little late or I leave early sometimes. It's crazy. Also, if somehow they haven't figured it out, happy workers are more productive, keeping them miserable is worse. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, 100%. 1,000,000%. Again, just for the people in the back, if you have a job that requires you to be physically there, like service work, or if you work as a nurse or a nurse practitioner or a surgeon or a barista or whatever, you probably need to be there within the hours, within reason and everything. But you probably need to be physically there. If you work a job that has like deadlines for projects, I really don't think we need to be subscribing to a 9 to 5 for everyone. Did we not learn that public school is not a one size fits all? Why do we think that a 9 to 5 is a one size fits all? Not everyone wants to work a 9 to 5. And if you're working a job that doesn't require you to work a 9 to 5, why the fuck are we being forced to work 9 to 5s? This is stupid. This is dumb. Absolutely dumb. Okay, but why were you late an hour every day? Because of my ADHD, because of my undiagnosed ADHD. Like, I was late to everything all the time, and I didn't have coping strategies for it. Like, I would fail every morning. Like, I would wake up and I'd be like, oh my God, I woke up late. Okay, let me rush. Shows up late. What a shocker. Okay, well, you know what? I woke up so late yesterday. That's why I was late. I am going to wake up early. Wake up an hour early. Spend the first hour meandering and doing nothing. Then realize, oh my God, I have to get ready to go to work. That's why I was an hour late every day. It was just me cycling between those two things over and over and over again, and then coping that tomorrow for sure I would show up on time. Every single time. Every single time. Now, as an adult who has been trying to improve my problems and trying to make my life better and trying to be a better cog in the machine, I have since learned coping mechanisms by myself which is not fun, by the way, because for some people it's easy. I've met people who they set an alarm in the morning and then they just wake up. They just wake up. I don't understand. I've never understood those people, okay? I know. I don't even need an alarm. You're a freak. You're crazy. You're crazy. But for me, it took me they're doing construction in my apartment, okay? Just anyways, I hope it's not too loud. I hope you guys can still hear me just fine. But
it's gooning time.
That's fucked up, Electric Flex. I tried that and it didn't help me. I just kind of ignored it. But moving on. I have a leftist alarm clock. 10 of them are set. Yes. What I ended up having to do, because I was really upset, and I was like, I can't show up late to everything. Like, this is not okay. Like, I don't want to be late to everything. I want to be the type of person that shows up on time. I don't want to be this person. And it was actually something that caused me a lot of stress, not being able to show up on time despite desperately wanting to show up on time to things. And I went on this like journey, I guess you could say, to do my best, to do my absolute best to learn how to show up on time to things. And this was like, this took me months to fix, by the way. Like months of real work. Okay, I'm very sympathetic to the position of like, I can't stop showing up late. Because it's not a laziness thing, I promise you. For some people, it's not that they just don't care. It's that they can't. It's just, it feels impossible. And so what I learned was,
we can
first of all,
I think that just anybody who
stop. First of all, no caffeine past like 4 p.m. And that's like the latest. No caffeine. Ever, ever, ever. No caffeine past 4, no matter what. No soda past 4. No coffee past 4. No tea past 4. Nothing. Anything that has caffeine in it, I won't have it. Because I think that the half-life, is the half-life 6, 8, or 12 hours? Whatever the half-life is, it's a good idea to not have caffeine. It's just so distracting. Okay. Stop. Okay, I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best to ignore it. I'm doing my best. I have to turn on the AC though, because it's hot as hell in here. One sec. What temperature is it? Wait, this isn't. What temperature is it in? How do I change the room? Whatever. It's really hot in here. Moving on. I didn't actually do anything. Hold up. Okay. Moving on. So I think the biggest problem for me was that I spent too much time around people who were enablers, and they were like, haha, LOL, I drink caffeine and I sleep just fine. And I was like, yeah, me too. I'm built different. Like the body regulating caffeine, it doesn't apply to me.
It just sounds like your
yeah, I'm pretty cool. It doesn't apply to me.
Right now.
Yeah, I can drink a whole Coke and be fine. I can drink coffee before bed, like 2 espressos, and I'm fine. And then I realized I was a fucking idiot. And it's not about whether or not you can fall asleep. It's about whether or not you're getting quality sleep, quality REM sleep, and being able to wake up refreshed. And I found what happened was when I would drink caffeine before bed, which I was doing all the time. I was drinking tea before bed all the time, like caffeinated tea all the time. My family's Arab. We make Moroccan mint tea all the time. So I would just be raw dogging tea all day, not even thinking about the caffeine in it. And I would go to sleep and I'd sleep just fine. I'd be like, a little tea before bed. So sleep just fine. I'm a heavy sleeper. I would just knock right out. No problem. I could have chugged 5 Red Bulls and fell asleep. No problem. And then I noticed I wake up groggy no matter what, every time. And a friend of mine was like, hey, you know this is why you're waking up groggy. And I was like, oh, actually, no. I don't know if you know this. I'm physically built different. Caffeine doesn't affect me. Yeah, I can sleep just fine. No, caffeine doesn't affect me. I can sleep fine. What do you mean it affects me? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And they were like, okay, well, if you're built different, you're built different. But if you feel so sure that you're built different, then why don't you try a week of not having caffeine 6 hours before bed and tell me how you wake up in the morning? And I was like, I'll do it just to prove you wrong. And then I was so wrong. I was so wrong. Oh my God. I was like, I felt so dumb after that. I've never felt so stupid. Like, I truly felt so fucking stupid. I was like, wow, I really just like convinced myself that I am not a human being that has a body that reacts to chemicals the same way that everyone else does. Like, I literally, my ass was cooked. Totally fucking cooked. And I mistook being able to fall asleep for quality sleep. And I didn't realize that. I didn't realize, what is this message? Asmongold gonna torch you. He needs to leave his house first. I realized later, oh, I need that quality sleep. And that quality sleep, that lack of quality sleep is making it so that I can't wake up in the mornings refreshed. And that I will press the alarm a million times because I never feel like I had enough sleep. Once I changed that habit and I realized that I was fine and I should just be a responsible adult and started being a responsible adult, I suddenly stopped waking up late all the time and I stopped waking up tired all the time, which made it easier to show up to things on time. That and setting alarms for everything. Like, I am truly the worst about forgetting that I had something. Like, I can have known that I had to do something. I could have been reminded 5 times, but I will still forget. And so, for example, when I book appointments, the first thing I do is go and write them down in my Google Keep. Immediately. It's the first thing I do because it's something that I check every day. So every single day I will know if I have appointments that day. The second thing I do is on the day of, when I see that I have an appointment that day, I set an alarm for 5 minutes before the appointment. So for example, my psychiatrist appointment is usually at 3 o'clock. I wake up that morning, I check my Google Keep, I see what appointments I have. Oh, I have an appointment today at 3 o'clock. I'm going to set an appointment for 2:55. And I went from missing every appointment and showing up late to every appointment to I am the most on time I've ever been in my life. Ever. But the thing is, I wasn't lying. I wasn't lying about wanting to show up on time. I wasn't lying about wanting to be able to wake up on time. Like, I wanted to every second of every minute I wanted to show up on time, but I just wasn't setting up systems to make sure that I succeed at my goals. And now as an adult, now that I can sit down and do little experiments on myself, I can actually set up those train wreck systems and show up to things when I want to show up to them. You got that well-rested buff? Yeah. Waking up late and waking up tired are not the same. See, when you wake up tired, the importance of an alarm, it's just not there. It's like, yeah, I have to be at work at 8. Yeah, it's 7 o'clock. Yeah, if I don't wake up right now, I'm going to be late. But I'm so tired. I'm going to sleep 10 more minutes. Okay, just like 5 more. Okay, just like 5 more. It's just 5. Oh my God, I have to get up. I have to get up so bad. Oh, it like the monkey brain fear only kicks in 15 minutes before I'm supposed to be somewhere. It doesn't kick in sooner for me. And so if it doesn't kick in sooner for you, which some people it does, some people see, oh my God, it's an hour before, I have to start rushing to get out. My brain doesn't hit that part until I get to the 15 minutes before something. So, and the grogginess makes it so that I'm like a different person in the morning. If I'm groggy, like I am not me. I am someone else. I am just totally someone else. So, anyways, all of that is to say, I relate, I understand, I know what it's like. Okay, I don't know if I have time blindness, but I do know what it's like to just show up late to everything. In fact, my friends probably know more than anyone else that I used to show up late to everything. Everything. And with a few lifestyle changes, just no more caffeine after hours, you know, making sure to have because another problem I ran into, which some of you might run into, is I couldn't fall asleep. So even if I could get myself in bed, I couldn't fall asleep. So it's like, I'm in bed at the right time. I can't sleep. I can't sleep. Exercise. I tried that once and I woke the fuck up doing that. I was like, isn't exercising supposed to help you fall asleep? And then after exercise, I was like, that pump was crazy. I'm ready to go stab someone. And I was like, wait, this was the opposite effect. No, I wanted to be tired. Fuck. No. Oh. Melatonin. I've tried melatonin before and I found that it was okay. The best thing that I found for me, some people, white noise works really well for them, is chamomile tea. Good old chamomile tea. And chamomile tea is amazing. Oh my God. I've talked to you guys about it before, but apparently chamomile tea, as you might expect, actually as one might not expect, I thought the Sleepy Time bear on the cover was what was helping me fall asleep. But apparently it's that the chamomile tea, the active, I don't know, ingredient, I don't know it's not an active ingredient. The chemicals that are inside of it, they bind to the same receptors that like benzos bind to. And it makes you feel that same like lethargy and exhaustion that you would feel taking something that other people might take as like something that will exhaust you, essentially. Make you eepy. And so chamomile tea is like clinically proven to have stuff in it that helps you pass the fuck out. And it's at no risk to you. There's zero risk. From all the research we've done, there's zero risk to your body. So, now I know why I love drinking that shit at night. I know. You guys are welcome to do the research on it. It's really, really cool. So I've started taking that every night before bed, and I found myself able to fall asleep with no problem, and it has been amazing. But this is not something that's so easy as like, stop being lazy to show up to work. You think that people haven't tried that already? You think people haven't tried that already? No, people have tried that. At the very least, I'm speaking for myself. I try to fix my problems, okay? And I try to fix the problems causing my problems. And it takes you some time to figure out the root issues of why this is happening. And so once you can actually do that and you can get coping mechanisms, it becomes easier to do the things that you want to do. So anyone here who is struggling with showing up late to things and struggling to wake up in the morning, you can try what I tried and let me know how it works for you. And if you don't feel like it and you want to be terminally late to everything, that's your prerogative. Live your best life, man. Hey, it's your life, okay? With all of that in mind, Matt Walsh is a fucking moron. To try and simplify a problem that is not as easy to fix for some people is fucking stupid. You know, I recently found out people have different levels of natural hunger. I love your name. Happy Hassel. I'm late because I have a baby, one shitty diaper as we're walking out the door and it's Jover. Oh, yeah. What do you mean natural hunger? So I didn't know this. I just thought I was a fat bitch. I was like, I just love food, dude. I can't control myself. I don't have the capacity for willpower. I'm just not as strong as these other people that can control themselves and not want to eat so much food. Because I just want to eat food all the time.
Lived experiences are so different for everyone.
And did you know that there are people that just don't get cravings? That there are people that exist on our planet that don't just want to be like chewing on some snacks all day? Damn, wish I could lose the stoner perk. But the problem is for me, this has been around long before I ever tried the devil's lettuce. Ever. I just love food. Oh, is there TTS? I'm so sorry. I didn't hear it because I took my earbud out. I just really love food. And I love eating food. And I love all types of food. And I love the different textures of food, and I like the chewing of food, and I like the smelling of food, and I like the bloated feeling that comes with food, and I love all types of food. I love every aspect of it. And I recently met people who are like, ugh, I hate chewing. What do you mean you hate chewing? I'm sorry, what? And they're like, yeah, you know, like, most of the time, nothing sounds appealing. And I know I haven't eaten in like 7 hours, but I don't want any of the things that are in front of me. And I have to eat one of them. And the food is fine. Like, I'm not a picky eater. I just don't really want to eat that food. And so, like, let's say I have a sandwich in front of me. It's like, oh, this is so much work. I'm tired. I can't eat the rest of it. And I'm like, let me get this straight. You don't spend every waking moment thinking about food? No. I must be misunderstanding something. You don't spend, do you not think about meals? Like, people in here, one's in chat if you agree, two's if you don't agree. Do you think about the next meal you're having as you're eating your current meal? Like, one's if this is you, two's if this is not you. How are people typing too? How are people typing too? Bro, I literally, this is crazy. Like, this is insane to me. Like, I will be eating, like, let's say I'm having roast beef. I don't fucking know. I'm going to Arby's for some insane reason, I guess. I could be, well, let me pick a meal that everyone can agree is really good. Like the best pizza you've ever had. Okay? Best pizza you've ever had. Just like literally whatever you like, whether pineapple, whether you want your fucking broccoli, whatever the fuck you put on your pizza. You're sitting there. Don't write semen pizza in my chat. You're sitting there, you're enjoying your pizza. You don't like think about, oh my God, you know what would be so good after this? Having like, oh, like one of those cookie cups that has ice cream inside and then like a honey or like caramel glaze and some sprinkles on top. That would be so good immediately after this. And then you're eating the ice cream and you're like, oh my God, you know, it'd be so good after this ice cream. Oh, like, this is just how I live. Okay? And every waking moment is spent doing my best to stop thinking about food. And I know what you guys are thinking. Oh, it's sugar cravings. Just stop the sugar. I tried that. It didn't work. It didn't work. I cut out all sugar. I just switched my cravings from sweet things to salty things. That's it. It was just like, damn, you know, it'd be so good. Oh, some of those like, the Frito chips that are, I know Frito-Lay is currently, I think, on the BDS list, but the ones that are little twisties, it's like, oh, those, I could demolish like a whole bowl of those. Oh my God, that'd be so good. Oh, you know, it'd be really good. Some fucking puff pastries or like some croquettes maybe. Oh my God. Oh, dude, you know what? You know what's really fucking, I could go for some curry right now. Some like slow roasted meat and some curry would be so good. So it didn't really fix my problem. I just like food a lot. How many times a day do you eat? Well, I spend most of the day suffering and then I try to eat 3 times a day. I follow a rule of just like, I don't bring food into my house that is easy to snack on because I will snack. And I try to get only things that I can snack on that don't have a bajillion calories because like I get the feeling of fullness, but I just want to keep going. It's just like, ooh, fun. And like, I get the discomfort too. It has only happened once in my life that I've been like, I regretted eating too much because of the physical discomfort. One of the things that helped me cope with my ADHD is coming to terms with the fact that I will never live a normal life. Yeah. And you just fix the problems. Everybody has different struggles. Anyways, actually, it's the reason why I've started drinking Huel. I'm not sponsored, but I want to be. It's because I want to cut right now. And it's hard to cut when all you can think about is food. So instead of thinking about food, I can just have my pre-planned meals and I'm just not allowed to eat anything else. As long as I don't buy anything else, bring anything else in my house, and I just have Huel, then we're good. It's not, I can't overeat then, right? That's ridiculous. You've only overeaten like once. What the fuck? I mean, I've overeaten a lot, but I've only been uncomfortably overeaten once. Yeah, getting ripped era. I want to get ripped, dude. I want to get some fucking... I'm tired. I'm tired of saying that I'm going to get abs this year and then not getting them. This is the time, okay? You guys need to hold me accountable. I don't know how you're supposed to do that, but do that. Anywho, I tried that with Soylent a while back and I couldn't do it. I'm not sponsored, but I want to be. But I find that like the Huels is way easier to stay full on than Soylent. I don't know what it is. But I think it's that these have more fiber in them than Soylent does. These have like way more fiber in them. And so you stay more full, or you stay full for longer, basically. So anyways, have you tried the Protein Plus Soylent? No, I haven't. But anywho, TLDR. Sorry, let's go back to the point that I'm trying to make. Some people, this is a common idea when it comes to, I guess like conservative ideology, that you can just bootstraps everything, and if it's not working, you're just not trying hard enough. But the problem is that different people respond to different stimulus, and different people have different triggers, right? People are different. I know, a shocking surprise. And for some people struggle to lose weight, not because of any personal failing, but because they're just hungrier on a day-to-day basis. Like, they just have more food cravings and enjoy eating food more. And some people that I've met who are super thin, like people who are honestly underweight and have told me personally, like, I am struggling to put on weight, they genuinely can go 16 hours and have not thought about food once. And their problem is the opposite, that they just don't, their brain doesn't give them food cravings. And I'm talking about non-medicated, to be clear. I'm just talking about like the natural state of existence. So my wife just forgets to eat sometimes. Like, what do you mean? I'm always thinking about food. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, right? I'm trying to bulk, but it's so hard. I felt like, oh my God. Same. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Not same, but like I had a friend who dropped by, and this person's like, my friend can like squat like 300 pounds. Like, has to eat to maintain the strength. I take him to K Barbecue. I'm like, you're going to love this. It's so good. And I ate more than they did. I was like, they were like, oh, I couldn't eat another bite. I'm like, we ordered 2 meats. You ate not that much. Like, you ate maybe 1 plateful. What do you mean we're done? I'm ordering more. You can just sit there, I guess, but I'm ordering more. They were eating all day. No, I was hosting. They were staying over at my place. I saw what they ate. They didn't eat anything else. We had like a light breakfast. So anyways. It can also get complicated. High testosterone, Cushing syndrome, adrenal gland tumors can cause right gain, abdominal, can all cause weight gain. Abdominal, yeah. There's also there's other stuff as well that gets involved, thyroid issues as well. But moving on. That is to say that different people require different solutions, and everybody's experience is going to be different, right? And if someone is telling you that they are struggling to show up on time, you can just kind of believe them, whether it's because of time blindness or it's not because of time blindness. There's a good chance they're probably not lying. Like, why would you want to be a shittier version of yourself? Like, if you are the person who thinks, I don't want to be late all the time, and you can't stop being late all the time, do you think they're just doing it for fun? You think they're just having funsies with it? That it's just like a fun little habit of theirs? No. You want to change. You want to be the best version of yourself, whatever that looks like. To say, like, grow up and show up to work, it's like, it's crazy for you to say that, Matt Walsh, when one of your only jobs is to not say something stupid on the internet. And you can't help but tell everyone that you're like you think 16-year-olds should be getting pregnant.
So to all of a sudden act like this phenomenon of girls getting pregnant at a young age that we consider young, 16 or 17, to act like it's a new thing is ridiculous. It's always been that way. Even biologically, and this is me just stating, I'm going to start by just stating facts. So fact number one, it's not a new phenomenon. Fact number two, in fact, it's a phenomenon that was more common earlier in history. And for, the first 6,000 to 10,000 years of human existence, it was a normal thing. Fact three, girls between the ages of like 17 and 24 is when they're technically most fertile.
Like, it's crazy for you to tell other people to engage in self-control and willpower when you can't do it yourself. Like, you have a prerogative to not be on the internet and you're still doing it. It's crazy. If it was that easy, maybe. All right. Let's try and finish the video. Try, keyword.
I'll look it up and I'll discover that the activity is 4,000 miles away. It's somewhere down in South America. And by 20 minutes, she meant that it would take 36 and a half hours to drive there. But even this is not really time blindness. I mean, my wife is still capable of getting to places on time. There's no actual time blindness. And besides, if such a thing did exist, there are these things called clocks. We all carry clocks around in our pockets everywhere we go. It's not like our only way to measure time is a sundial. We have to hope it's not cloudy today so we can see what time it is. And yet time blindness is still trotted out as an excuse. Here's a psychologist with a large social media following who presents a clip of another psychologist explaining this concept of time blindness. Watch.
If you have ever questioned if ADHD and time blindness is real, listen to this.
ADHD, right, is at its heart a blindness to time, or technically, to be exact, it is a nearsightedness to the future. Just as people who are nearsighted can only read.
No, don't ban him. Why are you trying to bulk up? Girls look better skinny. Not say too skinny. It's crazy that your name is Smash twice when you never get to smash. That's a crazy name to say, to have, to be honest.
Things close at hand.
Imagine if Northern Lion's name was like head full of hair. Like, that would be crazy. Like, it's like, whoa.
People with ADHD can
Sure.
only deal with things near in time.
I don't know.
The further out the event lies, the less they are capable of dealing with it. And this is why everything is left to the last minute, because they only deal with last minutes. That's all they perceive, that's all they deal with, that's all they organize to. And so their life is a series of one crisis after another, all of which were avoidable because people prepared, and they didn't.
You don't believe that time blindness and ADHD are real? Oh yeah, well, here's a guy saying they are. Okay.
Isn't that your whole show? Isn't your whole show just that was literally a scene in your fucking documentary, if you can even call it that. You brought on an actual licensed physician that is specialized in helping trans people get affirming care. And you had this doctor with credentials talk about what is and what isn't a woman. And she did it very succinctly. She described, well, traditionally speaking, a woman is someone of certain qualities that we attribute to feminineness. someone who engages in these behaviors and not these behaviors, and this is how we call this, and it's a collection of attributes. And being a man is a collection of these attributes. And there's some combination of physical and mental that goes into it. And then you went to like a comic book store and were like, what do you think a woman is? And the guy was like, in Nick Merckx fashion, penis, dude, vagina, G-I-R-L, girl. Yeah. You literally brought on a licensed physician, ignored her opinion, went to some random comic book store, found the most transphobic person you could find, and gave them a microphone. We're like, that guy's spitting.
How is that proof of anything? So people always think they can do this. Just, oh yeah, you don't believe this is true? Here's some guy who says that it is. Well, what do I care what this guy says? Who? So we see that, unfortunately, whiny Gen Zers on TikTok aren't inventing these ideas. They are taught these ideas, taught the ideas by what they perceive to be experts and authority figures. This guy has an MD next to his name, but that doesn't make what you just heard any less nonsensical. He says that people with ADHD have time blindness because they can only deal with things near in time. They are not capable of planning for any event farther away. He compares it to being nearsighted.
And to be honest, that's exactly how I would describe it. It's very weird having had ADHD for your whole life and not being told that you have ADHD. And then realizing all of these things that you did were because of this. Like, I really didn't know. I didn't understand how other people could show up on time and have that internal clock that actually like goes off correctly. Because again, like I said, I have to be at work at 8. I have to wake up at 7 a.m. and start getting ready if I want to be there on time. But when I'm so tired, I don't give a fuck. That fear of showing up late, it doesn't kick in until I'm 15 minutes away from being late. And it's like, oh my God, it's 7:45. Oh God, Jesus fuck. Oh no. Oh God. Shit. Motherfucker with glasses discards it because it's nearsighted. Excuse you? Mental illness isn't real, okay? Physical illness is obviously real. Duh.
These are not the same things. Okay, I am nearsighted. Without my glasses, I am quite literally
Wait, that's ADHD? It's one of many symptoms of ADHD. Like time blindness and struggling with like deadlines is one of many things that can exist or can be present with ADHD, but it doesn't mean that you have ADHD, to be very clear. Sometimes it's just like normal amounts of procrastination.
Incapable of reading things far away. I can't physically do it. There is no incentive, no reward, no punishment, no threat that could ever change that situation. If you take away my glasses, hold a book 10 feet away, and demand that I read it, I will not be able to do it. I just can't. If you put a gun to my head and said, read the book or I'll blow your brains out, I still would not be able to do it. If you offered me $100 million, I still would not be able to. I can't. I am incapable. My eyes have physical limitations that I
try harder, stupid.
Have no control over whatsoever. That is not the case.
Squint, bitch. Aiden, thank you for the gifts.
Case for people with ADHD, quote unquote, who are quote unquote blind to time or have time nearsightedness. People like the doctor in that clip, they use terms like can't and incapable because they want their patients to think that they are totally helpless. But that is obviously not the case. It is difficult for procrastinators to complete tasks on time. I know that myself as a lifelong procrastinator. But does that mean that they can't? Are they incapable? He said that
It means that you can't just will it into being in the same way you can't just will it into being to be able to see farther. I can't just, if you are dealing with actual time blindness and you're dealing with like a severe problem, you can't just decide, no, that's it, I'm going to start showing up on time. Because the problem is bigger than that. The thing with getting what is it called? A diagnosis, like we said before, is that you get to find solutions for the problem that you have based on your diagnosis, right? You go to your optometrist. Your optometrist is like, bitch, you blind. Here's some ugly ass glasses. Get the fuck out of my office. And then now you can see. You guess what? You go to a therapist or a psychiatrist and they're like, bitch, you late all the time. You got ADHD for real, for real. Have you tried? Here's chamomile before bed. You need to stop having caffeine. Or sorry, you need to stop having caffeine hours before bed. You need to start setting more alarms for things, as many as you have to show up on time. Like, you have a problem. You think you have a problem. You go to a person who's specialized in that problem, and they give you ways to deal with that problem. They give you tools in the same way that you have a problem you can't fucking see. You go to an optometrist, they give you a tool, and they're like, here, use this, and now you can see. It's the same concept. It's the same concept, okay? If you want to complain, at least make the complaints make sense. Don't just say, oh, you're just making shit up because you want to show up late. That's so boring. Why not actually, I don't know, tell those people, hey, you should go seek help out and find coping mechanisms that help you stop being late so much. You have to take accountability for the fact that you deal with this issue that is unique to you and a few other people, and you need to find ways to deal with this. That's not that complicated. That's not that complicated. But these people want someone else to blame for the downfall of society. I know.
He claims that people with ADHD can't even perceive of time existing in the future. They can only perceive of this moment. So apparently, if you have ADHD, the idea of there being a future is, you don't even realize that. You don't know. I mean, what? What does that
You know what's crazy? This is like an able-bodied privileged position. I know that that's a crazy thing to say and that just sounds like a leftist sentence, but it absolutely is. This is the equivalent of not having to think about whether or not the buildings that you are going to are wheelchair accessible. That is a privilege. The fact that you never think about that, for the people in here who are able-bodied, the fact that you never think about the fact that you have to go, oh my God. So a friend of mine is looking for apartments. So I'm helping her look for apartments. And we go to some complexes together. And we get to this one complex. And she recently had like a knee injury, but it's like, it's basically fine, but she shouldn't be going up any stairs with it. She doesn't have like a cane or like a limp or anything that would signify it, but she shouldn't be going upstairs because the stairs worsen the knee injury and she wants to get better. Visibly fine, but like what's actually happening inside is painful and going up the stairs makes it worse, right? And so we're going to this apartment complex. I'm like hanging out with her. She's talking to the leasing agent, whatever. And I'm like worried that she's not going to vouch for herself. So I'm like, hey, I have a knee injury on her behalf. And I was like, and I was told I shouldn't be going upstairs. Do you have an elevator so we can go see the unit? And I shit you not. This is what this fucking leasing agent told me. She said, oh yeah. So basically what you want to do is you just take these stairs and then you go up to the elevator that'll take you to the unit. Those are called invisible disabilities. The only reason I didn't call it an invisible disability, by the way, was because I don't know if it would be considered a disability. It's closer to like a sprain than it is anything else. And it just kind of needs time and stretching to go away. It's more of like a slight injury. And I just want to make sure that I'm not like misappropriating that term for people who actually do have to deal with chronic physical disabilities. But anyways, So apparently the way that the complex is, the elevator, the only way to access the elevator is through the garage for some fucking bizarre reason. I don't know. I just don't know. I have no idea. Why did I bring that up? Oh, just like talking directly past someone. Just incredible. Just like when you're talking directly past someone and they don't seem to notice. You also start to realize it a lot more when you have to push a stroller around. Oh my God, that's actually probably a great, yeah, that's probably a great option or a great way to see how much more effort goes into your day to day. My point is, it's one of those things that you don't notice until you're the one that has to deal with it. And then you're like, wait, this kind of sucks. This is so fucking annoying. Are you kidding me? This is the most annoying shit I have in the world. I cannot believe that I went so long not appreciating this. Not appreciating that this is something I don't have to concern myself with. Like getting sick after not being sick and then being like, dude, I took not being sick for granted. This sucks. Wait, this sucks. It's the same thing with mental illness, okay? It's the same thing with mental illness. When you don't have it, when you're not the one actively dealing with it, when there isn't some idiot inside your brain fucking making sure you get nothing done, when you don't have to fucking deal with that, yeah, life is pretty easy. You kind of just do things when you want to do things. Guess what? When that's not the case, it's really difficult. And this is a position you can only have if you have not dealt with any type of life-altering mental illness. This is the exact same thing. This is the exact same thing. In fact, there was this one post that I saw that was really good. It's like the ADHD meme Twitter that started getting recommended to me. They're spying on me. But the post was something like, let me see if I can find it. Pausers. Here it is. So I started taking ADHD meds to help, and even on a low dose right now, things are a lot better. So I have something to say. All this time, tasks were easy for neurotypicals. I'm sorry. I spent all my time feeling inferior and like absolute garbage because people can do tasks better than me. And it turns out it's because it's easy for them. What the fuck? The most common and least mentioned side effect of being properly medicated is outrage. Yeah. Oh, bye, Jojo Dancer. Moving on. Okay, moving on. You just don't notice that this is something that you don't have to deal with until you hang out with people or you have the illness and you realize this fucking sucks. This sucks. Do you think the people showing up late want to? No. No. I literally went through grief for a bit after my diagnosis, grieving the childhood I could have had. Oh, no. I think I just got like very lucky that I happened to build a lot of coping strategies. So like, it's very funny to like talk to my psychiatrist and be like, oh yeah, I started doing this. And my psychiatrist is like, yeah, that's actually one of many coping strategies that people with ADHD use. And I'm like, oh, I thought I came up with it. Okay, my bad. Hey, I started taking Huel because it's easy to like plan meals and otherwise I'll forget. And I'll usually opt for something worse. Oh, yeah, that's actually a very common thing. That's a very common problem. Okay. Okay. Oops. All right. Oops, you didn't know that. It's super cool to sweat when you're anxious and being late makes you anxious. Oh my God. Yeah. 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 That was my thing. Okay, let's finish this.
Even mean? No. It may be difficult if you're wired a certain way to do
See, thank you so much for the 5 gift subs. Thank
things
you.
on time and to do them or even do them ahead of time, that doesn't mean that it's impossible. I have to continually emphasize this. Just because it is hard for you to do something does not mean that you can't do it. It does not mean that you suffer from some disability that physically hinders your ability to do it at all. As always, it's really about effort and incentives. If you are not showing up on time, if you are not prepared for things in the future, it's because you do not care enough to put in the effort. It's not your ADHD, quote unquote. It's that you don't care enough. You don't.
My favorite thing, by the way, is like people who have lost multiple jobs in a row due to this problem or other mental problems of this type, I guess, and are like on, like there is no savings that there is to rely on, like serious issue, have to get a job or have to keep this job because I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Like there is no, you can't care enough. That is the most you can care. Needing to live, needing money to pay rent and feed yourself. That's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs at the very bottom. You think that they're doing it because they don't care enough? That's so stupid. What more could you, what greater reason could you care if not to house and feed yourself? You know, honestly, this is a very good analogy. I want to see him go up a flight of stairs in a wheelchair. It's not impossible, Matt. It's just incredibly difficult. It's like, hey, oh, I see that you need a wheelchair. Okay, great. We could build you an elevator, or I could show you and direct you to the elevator. But like, really, if you really wanted to get up the stairs, you could. You could just climb. You just should need to try harder. It's like, wait, why not just use these tools that are accessible? Wait, we have elevators. Why can't I just use the elevator? Huh. Maybe if you're weak, you can use it. It's like, what? What? Okay.
don't have enough desire to do it. Here's how I know that. Let's use this thought experiment once again, because I think it's a useful one. Imagine that I came to you and I said that I have $10 million in cash that I would like to give you, but I will only give you the $10 million next Wednesday at 7 in the morning at a location 90 minutes away. Next Wednesday, 7 in the morning, here's the location, 90 minutes away. Be there or be square. If you want the $10 million, you need to be there at that location.
That's fucking stupid. Obviously. I genuinely might be late. I'd likely forget. How do I get a career deliberately being this obtuse? Okay, sorry, let me collect myself. There is a big difference between something that you only have to do once and something that you have to do every day, 5 days a week for the rest of your life. It's much easier to get yourself to do this one thing that you have to do. Like, people who also struggle with this, struggle with showing up late. I've always noticed that showing up to hanging out with friends is a little bit easier. Because it's like, oh, I made plans. I know exactly when I'm supposed to go. This is a one-off thing. So I don't struggle with it as much. And I can also plan for later in the day so I'm not late. That is very different from like, I have to show up here every time. Especially if you're the one who made the plans and you want to go. Yeah. That's very different from having to show up every day because there's this thing that you have to do and you're obligated to do it. Hayden, thank you so much for the gift sub. Thank you. Wow, a hyperbolic hypothetical situation. How analogous to real life, Matt.
Exactly on time or early. Okay? Something tells me that your time blindness is going to magically clear up for this occasion. even you, riddled with ADHD, totally blind to time, even someone with your condition will find a way to get there on time next Wednesday at 7 in the morning to receive your $10 million prize.
Me when I use an example that doesn't make any sense at all to use.
You will be there. The woman in the TikTok, she will be there. She will be there. She will be there early, and she will be ready for that money. Why? Because the incentive is so great, and your desire is so great that it.
The example he should have used was for $3 million, show up at 7 a.m. and then stay there until 4 p.m. at a wall drying paint. And then after 2 weeks of doing it consecutively, and then only then will you get millions of dollars. Yes.
Will magically overcome your fake disability. Okay, there's so many other examples. It's just like people that claim, oh, I can't go on a diet. I can't eat health. I can't have obesity. Okay, if I
remember when I was bringing up food as an example of this topic, because it's a very good example. It's different for different people.
offered you $10 million and said, don't eat anything sugary for a week, you would do it. Easily, actually. It wouldn't even
So yeah, what about when the incentive is $9.25 an hour? LMAO. I hate Matt Walsh. I know.
be hard with that kind of money on the line. What does that prove? It proves that you can if you feel incentivized. Now, on the other hand, if you offered me $10 million to take off my glasses and read size 12 font from 10 feet away, I would be just as incapable of completing the task as I would be if there was no reward on the table.
It would be so fucking funny if, like, can you imagine like an MMA fight with like Matt Walsh and like, my temptation is to say Hassan, but I mean, someone of his build. Oh, it would be so funny to see him get just destroyed in a match. It would be so, I would pay like good money for good seats for that. Like fighting Will Neff. Oh my God. Can you imagine how good of a fight that would be? Watching him fight Will Neff. I would pay front row tickets. A box seat to see that. To see him get fucking decked over and over again. Oh my God. It'd be so funny. Oh my God.
That's because with a real and physical problem like nearsightedness, there is no amount of effort or desire that can ever change it. And the incentives don't have to be that significant. As I said, I am a procrastinator myself. If time blindness is a thing, then I have it. If ADHD is a thing, then I have that too. I had
he's literally neurotypical and likes minors.
to go to the DMV recently to renew my car registration. Not only did I not get there on time, but I was like 5 months late. And I still didn't even go. My wife went for me, okay? Because like getting me to go to the DMV, it will take me years to go. You could tell me you need to be at the DMV for this thing. Next Wednesday is the cutoff date. I will be there sometime in the year 2028 if I go at all. I can't. You cannot get me to go. You can't. Well, you could. That's what the point. But it takes a lot.
Forgot what he was talking about. He forgot what side he was on. He was like, wait. But you can't. I could go. I could. Why did I say I can't go? You couldn't get me to go. That was stupid. Honestly, he's such an ADHD queen. True. Forgets his point in the middle of his point.
Lot. And that's because I just really don't want to go to the DMV. I just don't want to go. I really, really don't want to go.
Now, if only I could understand why someone doesn't want to show up to their retail job. It can't possibly be because the job is soul-sucking. You have to deal with terrible customers. You hate your coworkers, and your boss breathes down your neck. Obviously, everyone who goes to work loves going to work. It's their favorite thing. It's their favorite. Duh.
I feel very little incentive. And the threat of not going, oh, you'll get a fine. Okay, well, I'll take. I haven't gotten the fine yet. I'm driving around with expired tags. No one's pulled me over yet. I figure, let's at least wait till I get pulled over one time, and then I'll think about it. So my time blindness tends to flare up wherever the DMV is concerned. My time blindness flares up wherever any kind of like paperwork or waiting in lines or anything like that. That's when I become especially blind to time. Now, on the other hand, I'm going fishing on Sunday at a lake on Father's Day, and it's a lake I haven't fished yet. Well, I've already downloaded topographical maps of the lake. I've researched information on depth and water clarity, water temps. I know where the feeder creeks are and the inlets and coves. I've already gone out and bought a few new lures that match the bait fish that will be most plentiful in this lake in the places I'm going to be fishing at this time of year.
Guarantee this guy's caught like a 2-inch sardine before, and that's the best he could do.
Okay, I procrastinate on things like the DMV, but when it comes to fishing a new lake, I am squared away.
Gang, he should just rename them Piss Baby Gang, because that's exactly what he's fucking acting like right now.
Fully prepared, I'm ready to go. Why? Well, because I like to fish. I enjoy it. I put in the effort because it's fun. I don't enjoy the DMV, so I put in less effort. This is the great mystery of time blindness. I have solved it.
It's just, like the packing peanuts? He just has like 2 of those that like float around inside his head. What? You mean to tell me that people tend to be better about things that they want to do and not about things that they don't want to do? I didn't think about it that way. Unbelievable. I'm going to go tell everyone I know with ADHD that, and then surely they'll be fine.
You aren't blind to time. You aren't incapable of showing up and being prepared. You just don't want to. You don't care enough. Now, this should all be pretty obvious. But it's not obvious in a culture where we've turned every human flaw, as we talked about in the opening, into a medical diagnosis. People take solace in the diagnosis. They seek out the diagnosis.
So that they can be told how to fix and remedy the problems they're dealing with. This is just...
They wear it like a badge of honor. They are relieved to get it. They go searching for it.
This is the stupidest thing I know, or I've ever heard in my life. Like, genuinely the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Because it's just not true. It's not true. The vast majority of people do not like to disclose their mental health and standing because they don't want to be judged.
Online, they plug in all of their character flaws into Google and they look for some sort of label and they go, oh, I have that. Thank God. Oh, that's my thing. I have that thing there. That's the reason. And so I can never improve myself ever because this is what I have. And how dare you suggest? And
I love that the idea that you would get a diagnosis to help you fix the problem is like not a thing. Like that's never happened. I like the idea that like for him, his idea of therapy is just like you go in and the therapist is like, so how's it been? How's it going? And you're like, yeah, it's been pretty bad. I've just been really struggling with like this and this. And they're like, wow. That sucks. Anything else? That's it? Okay, that'll be $500. Like, wait, what does he think happens? What?
That I have any control over my life whatsoever. People are just looking for an excuse. It is really that simple. So much of this.
Bro has never gone to therapy. I mean,
it's just simply people wanting an excuse. And it's an excuse.
Critical race theory. Critical race theory. Thank you for the raid. Welcome. I hope your stream was good.
The medical establishment is happy to provide because it means that you will rely on them, on their treatments, their drugs, their therapies, rather than taking charge of your own life and your own behavior.
That is taking charge of your life. That is literally taking charge of your own life.
That's what this is all about, as always. And it's why time blindness is today canceled. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you
God, I cannot describe in words how much I don't like this guy. I just hate him. I just hate him. And then look, the comments are so stupid. $100 says this woman has never been late to something she actually wanted to be on time for. No way. Are you serious? No way. Are you serious? Wow. What does this first comment mean? I guarantee the same people claiming time blindness who come to work late will magically finish on time every time. Wow. What is he talking about? I think that guy might just be dumb. Crazy, I turned this on right after my appointment that diagnosed me with ADHD. Sorry, my bad. This generation are experts in the art of gaslighting. Okay. Oh, do you think these are real people or do you think they're bots? Or do you think they're real people or do you think they're bots? Like, I'm scared. Oh. I can 100% guarantee you that a time-blind person will never show up early or leave late. Fake conditions don't work that way. The first one, yeah, because showing up late is different. The second one is like, in my experience, people who show up late tend to stay later. In my experience, if you have ADHD and you're actually enjoying what you're doing at all, by the way, you will spend way more time than you expected to spend doing something. This is like a problem that I've had forever. I can't help but work too hard sometimes or work too long. Like and sometimes at my detriment, to be clear. Like I was just so hyper-focused and I really wanted to finish the task. And I'm like, I need to finish this. Once I'm done with it, I don't have to think about it anymore. And then you hyper-focus and then you're like, oh my God, it's been like I should have left an hour ago. As someone with ADHD, this is a cop-out. I do have issues keeping track of time. I also have a device with me at all times and set alarms on it to stay punctual. Yeah, but normal people don't need... neurotypical people don't need alarms for everything all the time. This is not something I found other people do. If I have an appointment, I have to, if I don't set an alarm clock for that time, it's not going to happen. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to forget that I had it and then I'm going to miss it. For most of my work life, I skipped every lunch break and break in general to keep working to make up for time that I saw as my failures, either in being late or slow. But anyways, I thought that was, I thought, you know what? We haven't watched a Matt Walsh clip in a long time. I'm not in the habit of, frequenting his page, let's say. But I thought, you know what? Sure, why not? Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's as a treat, perhaps. Okay.